Out of all the themes in King Hedley, it deals with violence and cycles of poverty. What do you think is, in your opinion, as a director, the most important theme?
That's a good question. I think for me, everything always themed love and passion. Because I always say this phrase, excuse me, anger is not an emotion, anger is a mask protecting the emotion you feel unsafe to share. So I always remember that and everything. So love and passion is definitely a big theme, and manhood. And do the sins of the father fall on the child? Is it genetic? Is it predestined? Is it because you heard who your father is? And it's very interesting because I talk to my dad a lot. I talked to him yesterday, and sometimes I'll call him on Father's Day, and we both love animals. I get it from him. And my father used to, believe it or not, on the weekends he would let squirrels in the house and teach us how to tame them. And so I love animals. And so I'll call my dad several times Father's Day. What are you doing? Sitting on the porch feeding the birds. I'm doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's darkest. But as an audience member, and I'm curious if other people felt the same way, there was a lot of light moments in such a dark show. How did you find that balance?
It was several things. When I read it, I was like, okay, this is heavy. And then when we did the first read through, everybody just couldn't stop laughing. Mm-hmm. And then for me, anybody that knows me, I'm a silly man. When I have to put the hat on of director, actor, whatever, I do it. But otherwise, there's a 9-year-old in here that loves having fun. And like we all went through stuff, I was the one that always found the humor. So for me, I always think if you can't laugh, it's no point. Yeah. And so I'm always looking for the humor in something, if that answers.
Yeah. Yes. Why do you think that's important, that we decided to tell this story?
I think in any story, I always take it as a big responsibility. I always say that my job is to affect and change the world with my art in some capacity, and theater is the scene place. And I think when you operate, like in television and film, it happens more often than not, operating on fear, nothing really moves forward. And so I love theater, and I think it's important to move stories forward and ideas. And I feel like with this story, because it takes place in '85, so that's right when Reagan came in and a lot of budget cuts. And they talk about Mayview a lot in the play, but I was there, it was Mayview, and then it was another mental facility called St. Francis. And I remember when they all closed down and all of those people were in the street. And that's what we have today. I live in Los Angeles, and Skid Row, I actually donate time and work with a lot of people, homeless people in Skid Row, and that's the fruition of that we have. And it's like, I feel like sometimes we're on this 30-year loop, because my lifetime, it was, Nixon, then it was Jimmy Carter, then it was Reagan, then it was Bush, and then Clinton. And so we're on this weird loop that I'm kind of a corny, love everybody person, but I wish we would just figure out what can bring us together and what can move us forward, instead of this side and that side like football teams, And what's interesting is the political is red and blue, and so are the gangs. So it's the same thing, just a different idea. To do August Wilson is a challenge. So just to say that, I had to get my head on right, because I know the daunting task and the research and all of that, and still learning stuff. The most I could say important that I challenged myself was the first scene, because if you don't start right, you don't finish right. So the beginning was, and then the end of Act 1 that Brian did brilliantly with the World War III. That was challenging of how I wanted to tell that story. And then the beginning of 2 with Ain't No Grave and the beautiful song from Olivia here. That was challenging. And then the end. The end, it was like, because the end, it can either be yay or uh-oh. And I didn't want the uh-oh. So that was definitely, those were the ones that were challenging.
There's a lot of prestige with August Wilson. Like, even in my experience, telling people, "Oh yeah, we're doing an August Wilson show," their ears perk up. There must be a lot of pressure with that.
Oh yeah.
What is that like? How did you deal with that pressure?
You know what? I'm glad you asked that.
More love.
Yes, and sangria. Yes. I'm glad you asked that. I think for me, being in this business, and when I was younger, I was always told, this is a business. It's business show. Listen to all the vets, and they say the business. So I look at it from that. For me, I decided, because the ebbs and flow of this business, you're doing really well, then you got a year of God, what's happening, and all of that. What I always challenged myself to do was to stay a little fish in a big pond, because it keeps me hungry. So like I've worked in China, I've worked with K-pop stars, so I'm always going somewhere unique, so that keeps me hungry, and I feel like keeps my instrument ready, if that answers. So with August Wilson or anybody, I always, yes, you freak out when you first get it, but I'm always ready for the challenge, because I keep myself hungry, if that happens.
Let's get to the question that I know everybody wants to know the answer to. Who was the most difficult actor to work with? I'm just kidding.
I would disappear like Jimmy Hoffa.
Right.
You said that this cast, you got everybody you wanted.
Yes.
What specifically about some of the actors drew you to them?
Well, I'm a conceptual director, so I always take it outside of the box and how can I lift it off the page. And so one of the audition requirements, I guess you could say, was to sing. Because I wanted to, how you normally hear the music playing, I wanted them to sing it in a creative way. And so all of the people gratefully that I wanted, and I said, do you sing? Yeah. And I was like, oh, and so that
they can sing.
Yes, everybody can sing. And just what they did in the audition.
Okay.
I try to, in auditions, take the actors through their paces, not being, a ridiculous person, but making sure that they're up for the task. So all the people that I wanted were ready and hungry and had fire. And so this was one of the first times in a long time I got what I called my dream cast. Because most of your work is done when you have good actors. And dedicated and smart actors and all of that.
You could feel the fire. Stool Pigeon's deal. Like, is he...
Stool Pigeon is, it's the way August Wilson writes, where a lot of times he'll have the smartest person in the room seem like the most insane person.
Right.
Okay.
And so that's kind of his deal with a lot of his pieces. But I talk to the actors about this, they talk to me about this. Everyone is running from something and dealing with redemption or hope of redemption in the piece, and running from something and dealing with fears. And Stool Pigeon is the only one telling the truth. Because he says, I'm the truth sayer. So if you, in the guise of the behavior, if you listen, he's warning everybody. Even when he talks to Ruby, when she says, get out of here with the papers, he's talking about a lie. So there's a part of me that he knows that she's lying to her son. So each time he talks to people, he's warning them. Like in Fences, Gabe warns Troy. I didn't see your name in that book. And yeah, so he's that truth. So when you listen, I think initially, and of course the brilliance of his acting, you're laughing, but as you listen, it's like, oh, wait. I felt like I was born in vaudeville. So at 3, I was able to tell my parents for a performance what to do, and so I'm just in and of art. So I've been acting since I was 6, and in the business pretty much since then, and did more theater, and then transitioned to TV and film in the 90s, and I'm also an actor, but one of my claim to fame is acting coach and acting teacher. And I guess that's kind of it, and theater is my heart. TV and film is kind of my money.
King Hedley doesn't have music cues in it, right? Like, you chose some of the songs. How did you pick those?
That creative, crazy artist I talked about that was reincarnation of vaudeville. I have my own process where this might sound weird, but I'll literally dream the play, and I'll see it, and then I'll just kind of be drawn to certain things that speak to me. If that answers it.
Yeah, that answers it, right?
Yeah.
What's out of all the songs you selected, what was your favorite?
Call of War. That one. I kept listening. I had a couple other options, and then I had a couple people listen. I even had you listen. I tried to forget. I ran in one day in rehearsal, and I was like, "Oh, listen to this. Is this bad?" I had all of this. I'm a little neurotic and obsessive, so I was going, and so I forgot. I believe you said you have to do what's in your heart.
Yeah, do it.
And I was like, right. So that one, it just spoke to me, was one of my favorite, and there was a couple. Doves Cry for sure.
Oh, that was so good.
And actually, all of them. Aretha, if I'm looking right at them, the Aretha Franklin, and all of them. The Trouble. What is it? Not Trouble in Mind. The Trouble of the World. Yeah, all of the songs I heard. Yeah, but that was the Call of War was the one.
It was so good. How involved were you with the costume design of the show? You have an amazing costume designer.
Yes, I love her. She was amazing. I was a little involved. I think a lot of people in the play knew that era, so it was a lot of us involved in showing pictures. And I was 15 in '85, so I pulled out some of my pictures. Other people pulled out their pictures. One of our actresses, Olivia, showed me a picture of her mom. I wanted her to have a Jerry curl, and she showed me the picture, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's it!" And so a lot of people had brought their own ideas.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. Now you have the Bishop Arts Theater. I am so honored to have you here in our theater, and you did an amazing job.
Thank you. Oh, and actually, I want to say one thing I didn't say. First of all, thank you to Teresa, who we just met, and this is the phenomenal experience. And with Soul Rep, what I don't get to say a lot, run by 4 ladies, Gwina, Daleen, Tanya, and Anyika, who is in the play. And just it's been a joy to meet them, but who connected me was Gwina Bennett Price, and I met her when she was 18. And watched this whole thing grow, and we went to Howard University together, and she just hit the school with a storm. She had a play that she had written and was directing, and it was, who is this Gwina Bennett? And just following her and keeping the friendship and seeing this Soul Rep come, and we've worked together for years off and on, and so just the gratitude to her, and just the part that makes my heart smile to be a part of this, and her bringing me out here. So I'm happy that, because the one thing that does freak me out, it's like, okay, they done put out some money for me to come out here, and I need to, make nice on it. And so that's, I'm happy that she's smiling and not grimacing. and Teresa too. So thank you all, just want to say.
Yeah, thank you.